1. When mentoring junior developers on ReactJS best practices, which approach aligns with adult learning principles to ensure deep understanding? A. Requiring them to memorize JSX syntax rules. E. Providing scaffolded projects with real-world application. C. Conducting closed-book written exams on component lifecycle. D. Demonstrating advanced patterns without context. 2. In evaluating a React training curriculum, which criterion best measures its effectiveness from an adult education standpoint? A. The number of hours spent coding. B. Learners' ability to independently build reusable components. C. The ratio of instructor to student communication. The variety of coding quizzes. 3. Which communication method is most effective when giving feedback to learners struggling with React state management? A. Delivering vague feedback, such as, "You need to improve." B. Providing constructive, specific examples with alternative approaches. D. Ignoring mistakes to maintain learner confidence. 4. Which evaluation method best ensures learners can apply React hooks in professional practice? A. Multiple choice tests on hook names. B. Short coding drills without context. C. Practical assessments requiring custom hook creation. D. Group discussions without coding exercises. 5. From a curriculum development perspective, what should be prioritized when designing a ReactJS training program for adult learners? A. Covering all React features regardless of relevance. B. Aligning course modules with workplace problem-solving scenarios. C. Using only lecture-based instruction for efficiency. D. Relying solely on official React documentation. 6. Which mentoring strategy best helps learners understand React component reusability? A. Encouraging exploration of poorly structured code. B. Modeling reusable component design in real projects. C. Assigning reading tasks on design patterns only. Avoiding examples to let learners struggle independently. 7. A ReactJS evaluation rubric that focuses only on syntax correctness neglects which important learning outcome? A. Ability to recall library versions. B. Critical thinking in application design. C. Typing speed while coding. D. Memorization of React keywords. 8. When teaching adults about React Context API, which instructional design choice most supports self-directed learning? A. Providing pre-built code without explanation. B. Assigning open-ended projects that require context usage. C. Limiting content to theoretical overviews. D. Using only multiple-choice quizzes. 9. Which of the following reflects effective curriculum development for a ReactJS test prep course? A. Sequencing lessons from fundamentals to advanced hooks. B. Presenting all topics simultaneously to save time. C. Teaching routing before JSX basics. D. Skipping project-based assessments. 10. In professional communication during React code reviews, which feedback approach aligns with best practices? A. Using accusatory language to stress errors. B. Framing feedback constructively with actionable suggestions. C. Providing no feedback if the code runs successfully. D. Correcting code silently without learner involvement. 11. A regulatory compliance consideration when creating React learning assessments is: A. Ensuring fairness, accessibility, and non-discrimination in testing. B. Requiring learners to use a specific IDE. C. Mandating only closed-book assessments. D. Forbidding collaboration under all circumstances. 12. Which mentoring approach best promotes reflective practice in learning React testing frameworks, e.g., JEST? A. Encouraging learners to review test coverage reports and identify gaps. B. Providing answers without learner analysis. C. Limiting exercises to theoretical definitions of testing. D. Discouraging collaborative debugging. 13. When evaluating the success of a ReactJS curriculum, which data source provides the most reliable insight? A. Learners' completion rates. B. Learners' demonstrated ability to deploy production-ready apps. C. Number of quizzes passed. D. Instructor's subjective impression. 14. Which adult learning principle is best applied when teaching React performance optimization? A. Rote memorization of optimization techniques. B. Relating optimization practices to real-world project scenarios. C. Prioritizing theory over practice. D. Restricting access to profiling tools. 15. During mentoring, how should a senior React developer handle a mentee's repeated struggle with prop drilling? A. Demonstrate the use of context API and guide them through an example. B. Criticize them for not grasping the concept quickly. C. Assign unrelated coding challenges to distract them. D. Avoid revisiting the topic. 16. Which communication practice fosters psychological safety in a React training program? A. Publicly ranking learners by performance. B. Encouraging respectful dialogue and acknowledging questions. C. Ignoring learner feedback to maintain authority. D. Only communicating with top performers. 17. A ReactJS assessment aligned with evaluation best practices would test. A. Recall of every JSX attribute by memory. B. Application of concepts in building functional components. C. The ability to guess correct answers under time pressure. D. Only historical knowledge of React versions. 18. In curriculum design for React learners, scaffolding is best achieved by A. Starting with simple components and gradually building to full applications. B. Teaching advanced server-side rendering before JSX basics. C. Introducing state management libraries before functions. D. Providing no structured learning path. 19. Which mentoring strategy fosters independence in React learners? A. Pairing them with guided coding challenges before solo work. B. Completing tasks for them to show efficiency. C. Giving them all the answers up front. D. Avoiding structured feedback. 20. When developing assessments for React Router, which format best validates competency? A. Multiple choice questions on route syntax only. B. Hands-on exercises requiring implementation of nested routes. C. True, false statements about URL patterns. D. Written essays on theoretical routing principles. 21. From a regulatory compliance perspective, what must ReactJS training materials include? A. Accessibility features such as screen reader compatibility. B. Prohibitions against code collaboration. C. Proprietary code without citations. D. Restricted access for learners with disabilities. 22. Which approach best ensures adult learners remain engaged during a React Hooks workshop? A. Relating hooks usage to workplace challenges and projects. B. Limiting the session to abstract theory. C. Presenting lengthy lectures with minimal interaction. D. Avoiding learner questions. 23. A React mentoring session that ends with reflective journaling exercises supports which principle? A. Passive memorization. B. Active self-assessment and knowledge consolidation. C. Suppression of learner autonomy. D. Mechanical repetition of tasks. 24. Which communication method would be least effective in a React classroom? A. Open dialogue with real-time code examples. B. One-way lectures with no interaction. C. Peer-to-peer collaborative discussions. D. Guided Q&A with project feedback. 25. In evaluating ReactJS learners' mastery of lifecycle methods, which method provides the most authentic measure? A. Asking them to recite lifecycle names. B. Having them debug component did mount misuse in an app. C. Administering a timed multiple-choice quiz. D. Providing a crossword puzzle on React terminology. 26. When designing a ReactJS test, which evaluation method ensures alignment with adult learning outcomes? A. Scenario-based assessments requiring applied solutions. B. Purely theoretical knowledge checks. C. Memorization-focused quizzes. D. Only testing API documentation recall. 27. In a mentoring context, how should progress in mastering React conditional rendering be reinforced? A. By providing real-time projects requiring dynamic UI changes. B. By forcing memorization of ternary syntax. C. By discouraging experimentation with alternatives. D. By limiting practice to textbook problems. 28. Which curriculum design strategy best supports diverse learners in React education? A. Incorporating multiple modalities, visuals, coding, discussions. B. Using only dense technical documentation. C. Requiring only solo coding work without collaboration. D. Offering identical pacing for all learners. 29. Effective communication during a ReactJS team project should prioritize A. Regular stand-ups to align progress and address blockers. B. Avoiding status updates to reduce interruptions. C. Only documenting issues without verbal updates. D. Assigning tasks without explanation. 30. Which regulatory compliance standard is directly relevant to creating inclusive React training programs? A. ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility requirements. B. Exclusive use of proprietary IDEs. C. Mandatory attendance without accommodations. D. Restricting entry based on background.